I'm calling on the RCMP to do their job as well and not allow an organization to hide behind their badges and hide behind their tape and allow them to commit acts of animal cruelty, and they should be charged. We're calling on Courtney Fotheringham and Troy Bork and the Canadian Food Inspection Agency to be charged for animal cruelty. We have the evidence. There should be a full investigation done on this. This should not be just left alone.
Righteous outrage is taking place at Universal Ostrich Farms in Edgewood, British Columbia. Many of you have been following our reports at SaveTheOstriches.com, so you already know that this farm has been held captive by the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, who's hell-bent on culling what was a healthy flock of nearly 400 ostriches who've been healthy and asymptomatic from the avian flu for 266 days. But the story has taken a dark turn. Now, when the CFIA has their care and has barred and arrested 2 of the farmers who are forbidden from caring and even seeing their animals up close, we now see that allegations that the CFIA neglected an injured hen named Spirit are panning out to really look true. In recent days, we've seen leaked footage come forward that we've published at Rebel News that showed the hen in a complete deteriorated state from the last time the farmers had seen her to when they were in their care, and she was dying alone. But now footage has also shown what appears to be CFIA officials taking the electrolytes the farmers have been pleading with them to give the sick bird, who is now dead, and pretending to do so. I've reached out to the CFIA at the time at this report. I have not heard back. But here is what Katie Pisitny, spokesperson for the farm and adult daughter of co-owner of the farm, had to say. All right, Katie, it's been about a week of this standoff, and it's getting more and more dark each day. We saw the leaked footage of Spirit dying alone. And now the footage has come out that appears to show, well, why don't you describe what it shows?
Yeah, we were just fortunate enough, and I say fortunate because this gives us an opportunity of leverage to show the Canadian people what the organization is clearly hiding from, is their acts of animal cruelty. There was a drone that went in, and had been asking for days just a visual on her.
Yeah.
Pictures. Can we see her? Could we have Dave go in and actually administer the tubing? Then we found out from amazing supporters here, they took footage that electrolyte bag was being dumped out in an area that was way far away from where she was even, where she has been. And that was really, really disheartening to see that an organization that is in the care of our animals would be lying to us and not be treating them like we've treated them for 35 years and giving them the care that they need. So we found out that she wasn't getting her electrolytes, so she would have been severely dehydrated. Somebody here just finally said, putting a drone in, and we got footage of her in her last moments alone, and no Canadian Food Inspection Agency people around her, throwing her head back, which is a very clear sign. We know that sign. It's a sign of dying. And it broke our hearts because we would have been with her. She would have never been dehydrated. She would have been cared for. And it was an eye-opener, though, that, I think the world needs to understand that this organization is operating, they're operating behind the tape. They're being able to hide behind police tape. They're hiding behind good men and women in badges, and they're allowed to do whatever they want. They have to be held accountable. They haven't been able to be held accountable ever, and they're being watched. And I said to them a direct statement to the Canadian Food Inspection Agency: you can't hide from this. The world is watching. The world's going to continue to watch. You can't hide. What are you going to do? And
now, after this footage was out and exposed, the CFIA did put out a statement. We've covered that before. I've linked it below. They claim they followed the protocol that you, the farmers, have been requesting. I just want to clarify something. When you were getting quite understandably emotional with the RCMP saying, let us get over there before we knew for sure she passed,
You gotta stop it. This is cruelty. This is animal cruelty. Please stop them. Please stop them.
I'll get a hold of Ben for you. Get him down.
Please stop them. Please let us just be with her. Let us just be with her.
I think it's
beyond treatment now.
These are our family.
They told us yesterday she was
This is
moving
our-
around and she was
this is our
backing
family.
and getting up and like,
Family doesn't just look
and it
like
took us
This
going
is
public
our-
and
these are
saying
our-
that
These are our
and
family.
calling them out today for
These
them
are
to.
everything we've ever loved. She's dying alone, kicking her head back. She's. God, please take her. Please. Oh God, please take her in peace. This is so unfair. This is animal cruelty. They're hiding. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency is hiding behind their yellow tape. They're hiding. They're hiding behind a really important power. They're hiding. They're cowards.
The bird and
They're
the condition
cowards
that it's
in
in.
suits that don't even follow their own
we
policy.
know exactly what's going on behind it.
Was that the footage you had saw them taking the bag and then walking back with it?
Yeah, it was just prior to that. So just prior to that, so we had the emotion of them lying to us, which we've kind of known. Why would you cut our cameras? Why would you tape them over? Police wear body cams. Why are the Canadian Food Inspection Agency in such a big a situation that they're under the spotlight, especially not be cameraing everything, their movements and their actions and following their protocol and caring for the animals under their care properly? And then obviously then we found out that we saw the footage of her dying, and it was a really big moment. I think we had the police crying. The RCMP were crying because she was right there. And that's what I said. She's right there and she's dying alone. And so it took us days to get the anti-inflammatory really approved and for them to really get a vet working with her. The lack of communication and transparency from the Canadian and Food Inspection Agency with our family has been alarming.
Yeah.
And
You talk to your vet, we'll talk to your vet. They're just cutting you out completely.
You email us, we'll email you. And as we know, emails are not immediate. So then you go to their police liaisons. The police liaisons will talk to the RCMP directly, and then they go to talk to Canadian Food Inspection Agency and come back with a message. Are we in grade school? Like, stop being cowards.
Yeah.
And come to the fence.
And the liaison, to be fair, they thought they were doing a good thing. They thought they were giving the electrolytes. So I'm going to reach out to the RCMP about what they have to say about that role in there, and it appears what we're doing here. Now, I want to get some things clear, because when you're looking at the footage, we have the full, it's around 5 minutes.
Yeah.
They start walking around here. They go over to an area. They become a little, you can't see what they're doing behind the bush. Tell us why you know that's where Spirit wasn't, and tell us how long it would normally take, because they go and come back within 5 minutes on this live stream.
So you would go, she was not, so there's set sections of our farm. We knew where she was being housed. It is an injury pen. So we have one that is just half blind that would normally stay in there, one that had a broken toe, and they just stay in there to stay safe so they're not amongst the general population so that they could get injured more. And that's where Spirit had been put. We knew that from the PLTs and description. And so when we saw them walking behind the middle of our farm, behind a barn where we knew clearly she wasn't, and then within that time span, not at all. They were walking, they were on foot, they never drove. And then they went behind the bushes with this bag, came out. But the footage as well is them at the very far back corner. So we're talking even that walking distance is a long ways away. And them having the bag still and somebody doing something behind the bag, draining it out. We knew, so tubing a hen, I mean, you're going in, you're checking her welfare, you're sitting with her, you're going to be placing that tube slowly down her in her throat. You're going to be administering those electrolytes. You're going to be holding her head up, making sure she's getting all of that down. You're monitoring her for a little bit after, making sure she's okay. And that doesn't happen in 5 minutes.
Yeah, including the walk. And that's what really stood out to me, especially seeing how weak of a state the bird was in. There's no way. I mean, it's hard to give kids medicine within 5 minutes, let alone that situation.
She was clearly dehydrated. Yeah. She was suffering. And again, no animal should have been suffering alone. They should have had regular vet care, watching her, monitoring her. And especially in the situation, these aren't their animals. These are our animals. We have an interim stay order, and this is really kind of making a mockery of our justice system. So do they just assume that they have the decision already? Because they're acting as though they know what the Supreme Court of Canada is going to say. Why are they allowed to operate this freely? And preparing for the call, we understood. Okay, moving some machinery into place, getting some equipment, but not touching our animals.
Not blocking your cameras, your property, and shielding out you and the world. Now, last question is, what's next for you guys? You guys are already trying to go through the Supreme Court. We're in a waiting period for that to see what the Supreme Court decides. But with all of this apparent neglect and I'd say animal cruelty from what it appears, what are you calling now? What are you guys doing about that?
Well, instead of my mom and I were arrested, and we were arrested for wanting to maintain the animal welfare of our animals and keep them calm, follow through with their routine, and have them comforted by the people that they knew. Well, there was machinery and strangers going to be operating around them, but we were arrested. So I'm calling on the RCMP to do their job as well and not allow an organization to hide behind their badges and hide behind their tape and allow them to commit acts of animal cruelty, and they should be charged. We're calling on Courtney Fotheringham and Troy Bork and the Canadian Food Inspection Agency to be charged for animal cruelty. We have the evidence. There should be a full investigation done on this. This should not be just left alone. They have stated that she had underlying health issues, but the mainstream media is not reporting that she didn't have underlying health issues. She had an injury she was healed from. Yes. She was doing great. We called her spirit. She had such a strong spirit. And then to watch what everybody's missing is that her injuries that she just succumbed to were the drones that were flying extremely low on the Monday from the RCMP. She flipped a fence twice, and she was injured. So she needed her anti-inflammatories. She needed to be tubed. We needed to monitor that she was drinking and eating. And that is when her health declined. Was when the drones flipped her over a fence twice. It was not declining because of anything else and underlying health conditions. There was an injury, and that injury is what she succumbed to.
I'll just show a quick clip of you guys calling immediately like, this bird needs help. Look what you did.
Hi.
Hey, Katie, what's up?
So we put the signs up today to show us a picture of our hen.
Yeah.
Right? They're not tubing her. She's just doing the kick of death. They're not tubing her. They haven't taken care of her. Just let me speak.
I'm just gonna get PLT down for you. That's all.
If we would have just been allowed to care for her, she'd be okay. She's dying alone. She's dying alone.
We got
right
the
there.
footage,
We have
guys.
the footage.
It's gross.
She's dying alone. We would have never done that. Our birds don't die alone. They're loved by us. They're cared. She's alone, laying there, dying right there. We can't touch her. We can't be with her. They're not with her. They know she's dying. Because we did those visuals, she's dying alone. This is the most painful thing. They're right there. They're right there. We're not aggressive. We're not hurting anybody. We just want to give her love. They've been loved for 35 years by us. We would have never let them die alone. She's dying by herself because we are being punished by this tape. We're being punished. It's not fair.
We were arrested, and we were trying to do the right thing, and that was to feed our animals. We expect the RCMP and that there will be follow-up charges on the Canadian Food Inspection Agency and those that are responsible. They should be arrested just like we were.
Yes.
When an animal lays dying alone and her head was throwing back, being thrown back in pain, the people, our family, who love her, were forbidden to comfort her. That is not protection. That is inhumanity in uniform.
This isn't just about ostriches. It's about truth versus control, compassion versus compliance, and the soul of a nation that once stood for integrity, decency, and freedom. If the CFIA can hide behind armed officers to cover their fear of the accountability that they need to be held accountable for, then Canada is facing something far darker than a disease outbreak. We are facing a moral outbreak. One where compassion is quarantined and cruelty is being sanctioned.
That was Karen Esperson, your mother, co-owner of the farm. I know I said last question, but you've triggered something. You're right. We covered how the mainstream media totally twisted. Yeah. There's a saying, it's not that propaganda lies to the people, it's that it convinces the people to lie to themselves. And there's been a lot of that happening. But I want to talk about Spirit again. Is the mainstream media, as far as I can see, they're completely ignoring this very clear evidence that looks to prove that the CFIA is neglecting and has potentially contributed to Spirit's death. Is there any coverage? Are they reaching out to you at all about this? Because they are following this story.
No mainstream media coverage, just a statement by Canadian Food Inspection Agency, which I went through with a rebuttal myself this morning off the government website even. So no, I even reached out to Global just trying to say, I think we need to get some of the facts put straight. You're putting a statement on there about them, but they're wrong. You're leaving out she had an injury and it was due to the police drones. And you're right, they are neglecting our animals. Here in the front part here, you never see them feed. They do not feed in this corner. And if you know the farm and you know the animals, they all have areas that's their area. And so they've been herding them into this back kill pen zone, getting them comfortable with the place that they're going to murder them. And they're neglecting all the ones that are out here that aren't eating. They don't survive off alfalfa. It's a very important part of their diet, which they're not turning these bales either that they're eating from because, again, they don't want to deal with facing the accountability of the people. And so they're hiding behind police tape, they're hiding behind barns, they're hiding in the furthest corner of our property right now. And we have to hold this organization accountable. It's been operating with excessive freedom, no accountability, and no oversight for years. And so I just think right now, like I said, where are you going to hide? The world is watching, the world's going to continue to watch, and we're definitely not going to stand for animal cruelty or neglect while these animals are in your care. And we need a new way, we need a new platform, we need a new face, and we need a new vision. And the Canadian Food Inspection Agency needs a complete redo.
Well, there you have it. Katie Pisitny with Universal Ostrich Farms and Rebel News reporting on site. This story has so many twists and turns. The farmers continue to be treated like the criminals while the CFIA is tampering with evidence, blocking their cameras, and apparently now neglecting one of the birds that they're so eager to have slaughtered anyways. We have been here with our boots on the ground and will continue to be so. So if you'd like to support our coverage, please do so at SaveTheOstriches.com.